Hello, this is Michał Sorbet and this is a new episode of Wojennik TV. 1918 is one of the most important dates in Poland's history. This is the moment when, after 123 years, Poland recovered its independence. But this independence wasn't given. It had to be fought for, and it had to be defended during a war with the Soviets rising after the revolution. The crucial moment of these times happened in 1920 in August, when the Soviet troops approached Warsaw. During a final Polish push, a final counterattack, Soviet troops were routed, and Warsaw, Poland, and Central Europe were saved. This is the reason why this battle is not important only for Poland. It was also put into the list of the 18 most important battles of Earth's history, because this battle saved Europe from the Bolshevik expansion. In 2018, at the commemoration of the centenary of the Polish independence, a lot of initiatives were launched in Poland. One of such initiatives finally enabled a publication of a game which concentrated on the Battle of Warsaw. And today I would like to show you the unboxing of this game. This game was published by Zielona Sowa, Green Owl, which is a Polish publisher, and the title of this game is Bitwa Warszawska, the Battle of Warsaw. The author of this game is Michał Sieńko, a very well-known Polish designer who designed earlier also games covering Polish history. The time of play of this title will be from 45 to 90 minutes. It will be a game for 2 to 4 players aged 10 or higher. It is not strictly a war game. It has a war setting. It will enable us to recreate battles and fight against the Soviets while playing the Poles, or against the Poles while playing the Soviets. But it will also be a game suitable for players who are rather Euro gamers than war gamers, because it will, in a very simplified way, implement some elements which will try to simulate war, but at the same time it will be using very accessible mechanics. Today I'd like to show you this game, so let's now take a brief look at the components which are inside the box of Bitwa Warszawska. Here is the box of Bitwa Warszawska, the Battle of Warsaw, published by Zielona Sowa, Green Owl. Now, the box cover, as you can see, is depicting a Polish and a Russian soldier. On the back side of the box, we can take a brief look at some of the components. We get also the list of those components. We get 2 citations from Michał Sieńko and from Józef Piłsudski from its order from the 15th of August 1920. Then we also have the information about the time of play, which will be from 45 to 90 minutes. The number of players will be from 2 to 4, and it will be suitable for players aged 10 or higher. We get also a list of all the patrons of this project, and as you can see, there is also the logo of Wojennik TV among those patrons. We are extremely proud to present you this title. Let's take a look at the elements which are inside the box. The first element is the rulebook. As you can see, it's a small-sized rulebook, which is quite unusual because most often rulebooks are of the same size as the box. Here it is smaller, and I like this format. It's much more easy to read it, it's much more easy to stock it inside the books. The rules, as you can see, are prepared in color with some graphic examples, with the explanation both of the components, with a glossary, with also information about on how to prepare the game, then what are its core mechanics, how a turn looks like, what are the rules governing combat resolution. Finally, what are also the victory conditions. At the end of this rule book, we get also a small thank you part from the author, and also a historical commentary about the Battle of Warsaw, which is always a nice addition, especially for people who are not very keen on this subject. This is always something which increases the educational value of such games. At the end, we get also the order of battle, both from the Red Army and from the Polish army. The second element is the board. The game board, as you can see, is mounted. It is not very big, but not very small neither. It is double-sided. On one side, as you can see, we have a depiction of Poland when the battle was fought, when the Polish borders were not yet fully crystallized, with Polish neighbors such as Germany, such as Czechoslovakia, Romania, and of course the front line. As you can see, the Soviet troops managed to reach the Vistula, and the battle was fought at the outskirts of Warsaw. The second side of the board will be used during gameplay, and here, as you can see, we get some additional spaces. This is the same map, but without the names of the countries, but with spaces where we'll be placing cards, where we'll be placing troops, with some additional tracks which will be used as I suppose to track, for instance, victory points. We get also big squares with the Polish eagle and with the Soviet star, where additional troops will be stored. Then we get those troops, so green and red troops, green and red soldiers, as I believe, maybe depicting units on maybe divisions. I'll see what the scale of the game is. The red ones will be used for the Red Army troops, and the green ones will be used to depict Polish soldiers. I like the colors chosen because it will be very easy to distinguish them, and they are wooden meeples, as you can see, a lot of them. Then we get also one six-sided die with two threes, with two twos, and with two ones on it, three small-sized blue wooden cubes and one yellow. Those will be, as I suppose, used to track some information on the game board. Then we received two big decks of cards. One will be the Polish deck of cards, the second one will be the Soviet deck of cards. Let's take a look firstly at the Polish cards. As you can see, the card back with the Polish eagle, and those cards will represent both officers, such as, for instance, General Leonard Skierski or General Kazimierz Sosnkowski. We have also General Józef Haller, and of course we get also Józef Piłsudski, and also Polish troops, as you can see, Polish infantry, Polish cavalry. So all those will be troops, even Polish aircraft, which will be used during the battle. Now those cards are, as you can see, rounded. They are quite pretty. They are using illustrations instead of, for instance, pictures from the epoch. I like the artwork. I like also the fact that the information on those cards is quite nicely presented. I like the layout of the card. There isn't very much information on those cards, but looking at them, I believe that the information will be quite easy to understand, and also easy to distinguish one symbol from another. The second deck of cards will be for the Russian players, because you can play this game also in two teams of two. And here we get, of course, the Soviet officers or Soviet commissars, Ivar Smilga, Nikolai Solokhub. Then we'll get also Sergei Kamieniev with his famous mustache, just as well as the mustache of Semyon Budonny, who will also be here in this game. And Soviet troops, Soviet infantry, Soviet cavalry, and that's pretty it. Now, the cards are pretty thin, as you can see. I don't know if this will be an issue, but maybe they should have been a little bit sturdier. Well, difficult to say. It's maybe a good idea to sleeve them. I'll see during my first play. The next elements are counters, which are inside one counter sheet, as you can see. So additional counters will be also used to track some information on the board. They are quite sturdy, so here no problem at all. High quality counters. And finally we get also the player aids, 4 of them, two for the Polish players, 2 for the Soviet players. As you can see, those player aids depict the different information about the sequence of play, also places where you will be stocking your deck and your discard. Those player aids are also really sturdy, very high quality. I like them a lot. So those will be surely very helpful. And that's it when it comes to the components of the Battle of Warsaw. Now I'd like to share with you my initial thoughts, so let's pass to a short conclusion. Bitwa Warszawska is a game that I really wanted to show you. Not only because it is about a very important battle from the Polish but also European perspective, but also because Wojennik TV is one of the mediatic patrons of this game. So I was extremely proud to show you how this game looks. Now I'm very thrilled to try this game. I'm sure that it will be interesting and entertaining, and I'm also certain that this game will suit a lot of players, not only wargamers who will maybe try this game in order to recreate this battle, who hasn't been up until now very popular in wargaming. We have very few games covering this subject, but also to have an easier game in their collection with a shorter time of play. 45 to 90 minutes is really accessible, and it is something worth considering if you're looking for a wargaming filler. But this game will suit also Eurogamers who are searching for something interesting, because this game will be all about resource management. It will not have any hexes, it will not have combat resolution tables. It will be quite easy both to play and to teach. This is also a major positive aspect of this game, because its educational value will be much higher. I will present you this game during a future review. Up until then, I invite you to take also a look at our other videos. We have some unboxings and English reviews. And this was the unboxing of Bitwa Warszawska, the Battle of Warsaw, published by wydawnictwo Zielona Sowa, Green Owl. Have a fantastic day, and I hope that you will revisit our YouTube channel in some time. See you next time.